Welcome to the Rock and Review. You know, a man that hardly needs introduction. I've been trying to get on the show for about 3 or 4 years now. Award-winning singer, songwriter, guitarist, entertainer, Martin Murphey. You know, and I told you when you first came in the studio, Murphy, to where it's like, I remember when Wildfire came out and it was just all over the radio.
Yeah, it still gets a lot of airplay. I think primarily because of kids.
Yeah.
It's not really a children's song, but it seems to appeal to a lot of children. And the reason I think that kids are attracted to it is every kid at one point, usually, American kids anyway, have a fantasy about being a cowboy or owning a pony or having a pony. And there's a lot of children's books about ponies. You know, another factor was, you know, it's not a song about drinking, depression, and divorce. You know, it's a song about, you know, it's a kind of a ghost story about a horse. And I think parents were, you know, felt good about their kids listening to the song.
Well, and I tell you what, with the harmonies and everything else, and even on your new album, which is Austinology, Alleys of Austin, you do the song, a new version of it. Yeah. And I want to mention, too, in 2018, this was awarded one of the top albums from Deep Roots, I believe.
Yeah.
And
Deep Roots charts.
Yeah, Deep Roots charts. But on this version, in your new album, Michael, to where you've got Amy Grant with you on it.
Right. You know, Amy, I met Amy at a CMA award show many years ago, and she just came up to me and said, "Hi, Michael. I'm Amy. And I just want to tell you, I really love Wildfire." And I never forgot that.
Right.
I never forgot. I always kind of thought it would be an interesting thing to do a male-female duet on it.
Yeah.
Because, again, a lot of kids, but particularly teenage girls and younger girls were attracted to the song for some reason. I get fan mail. I named my horse Wildfire. You know, I got a pony. It's named Wildfire. I'm in the 4-H, and you know, I've got a chicken named Wildfire. But it just became a favorite pet name for people who love horses. So I called Amy up. It turns out I'm working with some people now who are knowledgeable about Amy, and they've worked with her before. So they called her up and said, "Would you like to sing on Wildfire?" And she said, "Yeah, I'll come over." So
wow.
It wasn't that hard to do. You know, she did a fantastic job.
Your voice blends so well.
Her voice sounds better than it ever did.
I agree, but also I think your voices blend well together. I like, you know, a male-female juxtaposition like that in a song, and it just sounds great with the two of you. And I mean, that's a song of yours that continues to live on.
Well, in the duet, whenever it mentions the girl, she's singing.
Right.
Whenever just telling the story, it's different. So. But we had to play with that a little bit because I had to start it off. She comes down from Yellow Mountain,
right?
You know, so
I just love it. Well, and also I wanted to make mention, you know, there's a few other guests on here, such as Lyle Lovett, Willie Nelson. You know, you've got a lot of friends on this album, whereas usually, you know, with more of the cowboy songs, it's just been you.
Well, it's mainly people from the Texas music scene, with a few exceptions, like Amy, who's not from that scene, but has always been incredibly popular in Texas. Mm-hmm. I mean, just she might as well live in Austin. She's so popular.
Well, and Texas is its own music scene, very different from Nashville. And if you're in Texas, you're in. And if you're not, you're not.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with the way the culture is. In every other music scene I've ever been a part of, and I lived in California for a while and some other places, it seems like the generations don't get along. You know, the kids are listening to something that mom and dad don't want you to listen to. Stuff like that. We were all songwriters who didn't feel that way about life, and the Texas culture is that way. You respect your parents even if you don't agree with them.
Right.
And that's just the way I was raised. So, I mean, Willie Nelson, I'm sure his mother didn't like him smoking marijuana, but he was so close to her.
Right.
He was devastated when she died. Mm. I stayed close to my parents, even though I didn't agree with them politically at the time. I do agree with them politically now. You know, you grow up and you figure, you know, maybe Dad was right about that, you know.
Exactly. Kind of rethink things with more years and more experience, right?
My dad was an accountant, so
okay.
his chief complaint in life was taxes.
Well, I wanted to bring up also to where,
I support people who support lower taxes. That's
well,
my thing.
and I wanted to bring up too that, with your family and you carrying on the cowboy tradition, which I think is amazing, that you're keeping this music alive and all of this going, Michael, to where your grandfather used to sing the cowboy songs, and that's kind of where you got hooked on it, wasn't it?
I grew up on ranches, although I was raised in Dallas, Texas. I had family ranches just a generation or a cousin or an uncle or aunt removed, So my dad worked in downtown Dallas, but in the summertime he sent us off to these ranches.
Yeah.
So my grandfather, Ed, my granddaddy Ed, who came from Kentucky to be a cowboy in teenage years, he would always love to have us boys out there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I fell in love with it then, and it never left me.
And you still love it now.
I swore that if I ever got any kind of success in life and got enough money to buy a ranch, I was going to do it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until, somewhere around 1982, 83 that I finally made enough money in the music business to be able to buy a ranch.
Wow.
So,
how incredible.
You know what they say, the next best thing to making money in the cattle business is losing money in the cattle business.
That sounds like me with buying guitars.
Because you get to be a cowboy. Right?
Yeah, but you know what? You do it on your own terms.
That's right. Yeah.
It's so amazing too. Looking at your body of work through the years, Murphy, to where you've done so many great things. You've gotten all these awards, including CMA Vocalist Award and stuff like that. But I also noticed that now you're getting in as many cowboy halls of fame as you are music.
Well, what drives me to write is the cowboy lifestyle that I've always lived. You might notice that a lot of times when bands first come on the scene, they've got all these interesting songs about a lot of different things.
Right.
But then when they get really famous and they go on the road, pretty soon all the songs start to be songs about the road.
Right.
And it's just endless songs about road stuff. And in rock and roll case, endless songs about groupies and stuff like that.
Right.
So pretty soon it just gets to be about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and that's your subject matter.
Right.
I don't find that interesting. I find that pretty confining. I've always loved being close to nature and close to the land and being a cowboy, and I love animals. I love hunting.
Right.
I love fishing.
Yeah.
Being
one with nature.
All that stuff. So I'm driven to write about that.
Right.
My most famous song's about a horse. It's a horse story. So that's ultimately, I guess, why I succeeded in the Cowboy Halls of Fame, because I talked about that culture. And
I think it's a testament that you keep it alive, because I think it needs to be kept alive. And just like the photo on here, and we were talking that the artist that did this has done, 7 or 8 of your other album covers as well?
That's William C. Matthews, or William Matthews. I call him Willie. Not that other Willie.
Not the other one.
He's the world's foremost watercolorist now. When I first met him, he did my first album cover. We were both a couple of hippies living in L.A., and he was I can't even remember how I ran into Willie, but I think my wife thought he was cute or something.
And there you go. And he's an artist
and
guy.
We were at a party. She said, "That guy over there, he's an interesting looking guy." Okay, well, I'm going to go over and meet him.
Oh, that's
And it turned out he was an artist.
Yeah.
He's developed himself into the world's foremost watercolorist in every field. He's primarily known for Western art.
Yeah.
But he goes all over the world now and paints all different cultures and
Well, I just think it's
landscapes.
amazing, too, because you can obviously tell on the cover of the album that it's you walking down an alley, and so it goes very well with the alleys of Austin.
It's a masterpiece painting, but everything the guy turns out's a masterpiece, or else he
fitting
doesn't,
for a masterpiece
or else he
album,
doesn't turn loose of it.
Yeah.
I said, how come every painting you do is a masterpiece? He said, well, the ones that aren't masterpieces, I don't let anybody see, Michael. And that's kind of the way I am about songs now.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to just turn in songs and write songs and, think it's a song I wrote, so it's valid. I don't feel that way anymore.
Years of experience. Now, I got to ask you, too, obviously I've seen you on the road with your Collins guitar. Is that what you usually write on also when you're writing your songs?
I have several guitars I write on. My grandfather's guitar, my grandfather gave me, is in the Country Music Hall of Fame right now, so I can't write songs on it, but I would get it out and write. I would not take it on the road.
What was
when
that
I was
guitar?
songwriting. It was a Martin D28.
Nice.
Yeah.
And those just age out so well.
I actually wanted one that had the pearl inlay and stuff on it, but I couldn't afford it, so I took it to Mexico. It had abalone shell inlaid all over it.
Had it tricked out like a D45?
You know, very inexpensive. I went down to Tosco, and they did it for me. My mother said, "You leave your guitar here; it's not coming back." I said, "I don't know about that. These guys they're known guitar makers around the world."
Well, and I wanted to bring up too that the Collins that you use on the road is the last one that Bill built before he passed away.
Yeah, you know, I've always been fascinated with cutaways that were made in the 20s. I think I was the first country artist to play a cutaway. Randy Wood made me a cutaway in 1976, 1 year after Wildfire came out. And I had enough money that I thought I could get a custom guitar made. So Randy made this guitar. Some people might remember it was an old-time picking parlor in downtown Nashville.
Totally.
And Randy now lives in South Carolina. Wow. So I gave him the specifications of what I wanted, and he built the cutaway, kind of based on what the old 1920s cutaways were like. But acoustic cutaways were very uncommon.
Totally.
And I think I was the first one to start doing that.
Wow. See, ahead of your time
I wanted
again.
to be able to get up there.
Yeah.
So I went to Bill, and Bill said, "Well, I really don't. I build cutaway electrics, but I don't know about cutaway acoustics."
Right.
And I said, "Well, and I don't. I do. You do make some, Bill." I said, "But you don't build them personally. I know that." He said, "Well, that's true." He said, "I'm a guitar maker, and I think the old body sounds the best."
Right.
I said, "Well, nevertheless, I want one." I said, "But why don't you try this? Try putting a curve on the cutaway instead of on a point." And they used to look like a half moon, you know,
totally.
in there.
Yeah.
So he tried that, and that worked out good. And I think that preserves some of the sound. Mm-hmm. Bill built the sturdiest, best-sounding guitar ever.
Just amazing. Well, I want to bring
just last and last and last.
Well, and obviously, because you're still playing it on the road. Now, with Austinology, where's the best place at your website, michaelmartinmurphey.com? They can order the vinyl and the CD, and you'll sign them also if they order them on the website,
You wouldn't believe the myriad of things you can order on that website. There's lots of things you can order on there, including the new album.
Dun, da, 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 and the full cowboy outfit to go with it, too, right?
I'm just kidding around, but seriously, I just took back a lot of my old catalog. I now own the masters to a lot of those records, and so we have pretty much every record I've ever made. If we can't find them, we go on Amazon. We start a bidding war.
Wow.
Or we'll go wherever we can get them. But we have every album I've ever made available.
How amazing. And also all of your upcoming shows for this year and everything on the website as well. Yeah. And then they can download your songs digitally, particularly with the new album through iTunes and everything else.
We kind of update everybody on a weekly basis, or a lot of times daily basis, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day if I'm in the mood. If I feel like,
right.
being on my iPhone or whatever, but I don't always feel that way. When I'm at the ranch, I don't do it that much.
I can't believe
We have Facebook.
Yeah.
But I do think, I don't put down cell phones. As a rancher, it's meant that I can go out there, work cattle, ride with the crew,
right,
and take a little video of us doing that, and go back to where we have enough service and send that to my publicity guy
and post it out.
And we can show people how we really live.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I'm so glad you're keeping that tradition.
I don't put that down as long as it's not 5G.
Yeah.
I don't support this 5G thing.
There we go. Well, I'll tell you what. I support this new album. It is Austinology, Alleys of Austin. Michael Martin Murphey. Be sure and get the new album. Download it however you consume music. But also go see him live in concert. And if he's playing with the full band, you're going to see him moving all around the stage and having some fun.
Yeah, every show's different, and we do write set lists, but I always change it on the spot. So just feeling the audience. I think as the longer you perform, the more you're comfortable with getting outside of that set list that just confines you. When there's a little girl out there on the front row that you met in the lobby when you were signing autographs, who wants to hear Wildfire, you're going to not do it last, you're going to do it sooner, because she might be asleep by the time.
That is so incredible. Well, be sure and catch him live and get the new album, Austinology, Michael Martin Murphey. Thank you for watching The Rock Interview.